Hello everybody, it's the 1st of March today, and today I'm looking at repotting my swamp cypress, and I'm going to try and put it into this rather nice chocolate brown pot that I had for Christmas, if it'll fit. I'm a bit worried that the root spread is going to be too wide, but if it doesn't fit, then well, I'll have to come up with a plan B. Problem with this tree, if it's a problem, is that it's quite tall and it's really hard to work on and film at the same time, because I need to have the camera a reasonable distance away to fit the whole thing in, because it's fairly tall, as you can see, but then invariably all you end up looking at is my back. So I'm going to move it from where it is. As you can see, it's been sitting there in its current pot. I say pot, it's actually a cat litter tray that I drilled some holes in the bottom of, and it's been sitting in this tray of water, which I emptied out yesterday so that the whole thing isn't too soggy when I come to repot it now. But it loves the water, and it's been sat in the water all winter. And even when it's frozen, it doesn't seem to have missed a beat. Anyway, let's move it over to the bench and see about getting it out of the pot. Before I get it out of the pot, let's just give you a quick 360 of the root base. As you can see, it's quite interesting. Well, from the front, the back's a bit lamer, but from the front it's quite something, and it's got some nice taper going up the top, and I'm growing it as an old flat top tree. So this is something I've never seen in nature, or something we have here in the UK. Having seen video and photos of flat top swamp cypress, I thought that's what I want, that's what I'd like to emulate, and so why not? Okay, looking at the spread of the roots against the pot, I think it's going to be a tight fit, but if it's not achievable, the worst that can happen is it'll go back into this pot for another year or two. It's been in there, I think, about 3 years already, and as pots go, as training pots go, it's not that terrible, especially when, as I said, considering it is in fact a cat litter tray. Now let's get it out and see what the roots look like. Well, it's not as congested as I expected it to be, but yeah, I guess we need to get rid of some of these blooming weeds that also don't seem to have been at all bothered by the fact that the tree's been sitting in water all winter. Okay, so slimy root. See what we've got. Not at all root bound as I expected it to be, but that's alright, because that'll help considerably in getting it into that smaller pot. So as you can see, I've reduced some of the soil from around the roots as well, raising the tree up slightly to show off a bit more of this rather nice Navari. I think I'm going to lose these two roots they haven't got much in the way of feeder roots on the end of them anyway, and they definitely won't fit in the pot. So before I lose my nerve, they've gone. Okay, so I'm gonna start trimming these roots, seeing if I can bring this root ball down a bit. My eye says might fit, but I think I've said before, what my eye says makes no difference at all. Otherwise I just use it when I measure up carpets. I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. I think if I remove that big chunk there, I might be able to persuade on that big chunk there. These roots are quite flexible. I might be able to persuade it. We shall see. I'm leaving these two pieces longer. I hope I can just tuck them under like so. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's literally going to be millimeters. But I do want a little bit of edge around the side of the pot. So, oh well, plan B. Okay, so this is plan B. There is a playlist for this particular fusion project. There's a whole bunch of pieces of willow which I was attempting to fuse, but that has died off almost in its entirety. I found ash, birch, oak all fuse so much better than willow, which I thought was a shoe-in. People use it for willow sculptures and all sorts of willow hurdles and fencing, but I haven't had a huge amount of luck with willow, so I'm going to abandon this project. I'm like, this piece of deadwood may be interesting at some point, but I don't know, there's only so much you can do and only so much time. So I think I'm going to abandon this project and repurpose this pot for the flat top bowled cypress. I think a square pot would still look nicer, or a round one, but I can work with the oval. Work with the rectangle. What am I talking about? So it's a nice pot, got some nice feet, and I think the tree will look nice in it. Let's just offer it up. It's going to fit in there very nicely. Again, I think I'm going to have it leaning slightly to that direction, and yeah, right, let's get some soil in. I often say I'm not a how-to channel, more of a how-I channel, yeah, how I do my bonsai rather than how you should do yours. But here's the top tip: if you're making up a batch of soil in a bucket, don't leave it outside overnight when it's going to rain. So you end up with soil that's a bit soggy, heavy, and doesn't flow as freely. I have mixed in some extra dry with this to help alleviate that a little bit, because what I had was a soggy lump. I suppose, yeah, for a swamp cypress it wasn't totally inappropriate, but it wasn't great either. Okay, so I think that's going to show off the roots quite nicely. Might want to attach more in the back in particular. It may seem very inexact, but I'm not worried about air pockets at this point. Because I've got a fairly solid flat root base, I'm not too worried about that at all, really. As I said, I want it to go slightly to the... yeah. Happy with that. I raise the pot up slightly so you can see it edge on. You can see the roots are sticking up quite nicely. So now we can just fill in around. It's a shame I lost those two roots off of there thinking it would go in the smaller pot, but hey ho. As I think I was saying, that's why we don't do things like more expensive things like measure up for a living room carpet just using our eyes. Or if we do, it could end up very costly when it's 2 inches too small. Give it the old-fashioned gardener's tap to help firm it down a bit, and then I'm going to add some slow release fertilizer. It's a big pot, so I'm going to add quite a lot. And as I've said in other videos, if you're a long-term subscriber, you're probably sick of hearing it, I put it in the top so that as it slowly leaches, it will leach down through the soil to the bottom of the pot, not start in the bottom of the pot and leach out the drainage hose. But it does look horrible, hence it needs another top dressing just to bring the level up. This soil mix is my own normal soil mix of 10 parts kitty friend cat litter, 5 parts potting grit, and 2 parts organic compost, but it has been modified so I have actually 5 parts of the compost, because as the name suggests, swamp cypress, sometimes called the bold cypress, likes to sit wet. In fact, this tree will sit in a tray of water most of the year. Oh, there we have the roots. I'll see if I can get the camera back enough to give you a shot of the whole thing. The answer lies, yeah, just. I am going to work the top some, but I'm going to do that as a separate, maybe a part 2 video to this, or just do it off camera. I haven't decided yet. I think this video has probably gone on rather long. So we'll leave it here and we'll just say thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, comment below, but most of all, please, 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 stay safe everybody.